Well, good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome to the Royal Society of Medicine for this conference on chronic fatigue syndrome. I'm John Scadding. I'm Dean of the RSM and a neurologist by trade. Chronic fatigue syndrome is a cause of major morbidity and loss of function for a very large number of sufferers. It's been estimated that there may be as many as 150,000 in the UK affected by this condition, but we'll be hearing more about that before too long this morning. Everyone accepts that the condition poses many problems. These include, and I'm going to just list one or two of these, nomenclature with at least 4 terms in common usage: chronic fatigue syndrome, myalgic encephalomyelitis, post-viral fatigue syndrome, and chronic fatigue immune dysfunction syndrome. We've chosen chronic fatigue syndrome for this meeting on the basis that this term does not make any assumptions about underlying causation and pathology. However, we're well aware that some may find this term, indeed do find this term, somewhat unsatisfactory. The pathogenesis and pathophysiology of CFS are further unresolved issues. There are many hypotheses, and we will be hearing about some of these today. Of course, the symptom of chronic fatigue is a feature of very many conditions, and in the assessment of all people presenting with this and associated symptoms, it's vital to make a very careful clinical assessment, followed by appropriate investigation. As a neurologist, I know only too well that the diagnostic process has to be painstaking and can be lengthy, with consideration of a wide range of central and peripheral nervous system conditions in some patients. The diagnosis of CFS can sometimes be made only after a considerable delay, and of course that uncertainty generates an additional burden for those with the condition. And when we turn to treatment, the controversies are certainly no fewer. We recognise only too well the current limitations, both in terms of the lack of any specific treatments and in terms of partial efficacy. In organising this meeting, we have sought to address some of these issues, and I'm grateful to the members of the planning group for their work. In the course of a single day, we recognise that a completely comprehensive programme is not possible, and as many of you will be aware, perhaps all of you now who come through the door this morning, we have come in for considerable criticism from those who see the programme as lacking balance. There has been no intention to cause any offence or antagonise, and we hear the arguments of our critics. However, we have sought to examine some of the key issues in chronic fatigue syndrome in today's programme, and we have a faculty that includes those who have made major contributions in research. Of course, neither this conference nor any other at the moment can be taken as any sort of final word on the subject of CFS. It is all work in progress. I would like to take this opportunity to report that we have a further initiative in mind on chronic fatigue syndrome. This is a meeting in the RSM's Medicine and Me series, in which, in partnership with one or more patient groups, we will organise a meeting intended for patients in which the programme is driven by patients and is very much in the hands of those suffering from the condition. We've held 11 such meetings over the last 3 years or so on a wide range of diseases. I hope that this additional meeting, which will be planned as soon as we can and held in the early part of the next academic year, will go some way towards addressing the concerns of those who have been so critical of today's programming. I think that is enough by way of introductory remarks, except to express my gratitude to all of today's speakers and chairs, and to let you know that unfortunately Professor Mansell Aylward will not be able to join us today. Professor Peter White has kindly agreed to step in and chair session 3 at short notice. We have sought to address some of these issues, and I'm grateful to the members of the planning group for their work.